Hi guys, welcome back. And the first part of this episode, what we are going to do, besides watch Marvin smoke a bit and relax a little, we are going to read all the stuff we've picked up and haven't managed to read just yet. So if you want to skip this part entirely, just skip to the timestamp I'm gonna put on the video just now, and then we can go back to questing. So let's start reading, shall we? We picked up the Azure Sales, book describing the beginnings of the Merchants Guild. And the thing is, I want to read them because besides the stories that the developers have written, we also get bonuses, experience bonuses, and permanent bonuses from these books. So, let's begin. From time immemorial, man has longed to travel. No wonder, after all, they are embedded in our blood. Our ancestors already knew that expeditions are necessary to provide shelter and food for their loved ones. We are also driven by simple human curiosity. The desire to know what lies beyond the next hill, bay, and sea caused our civilization to reach the limits of the currently known world. Travel, however, not only expanded our knowledge of different lands and their inhabitants, but also contributed to many discoveries in science and crafts. To travel across the vast seas, we had to learn navigation based on the position of the sun and stars in the sky. Sea voyages also required us to design and build sturdy boats and ships capable of carrying people and goods over long distances. Over the years, man began to travel the sea to see the benefits of frequent travel. It allowed us to season our meals with spicy red pepper and enjoy the sweetness of honey tobacco at the end of a workday. Travel also caused the establishment of settlements on newly discovered lands, where local businesses flourished. Over time, the people who settled there began to form trade associations, from which emerged the incomparable Archolos Merchant Guild. Volume 2. Although today the leading in trade Archolos Guild and all its branches is an integral part of Myrtana, its origins are shrouded in a tumultuous conflict that challenged the economy of the kingdom for many years. When news of King Maximus III's conquest of the Eastern Archipelago spread across the world, the new colonies began a temptation for many merchants whose ships flocked to the new colonies. As Burfeld, then scribe of the Archolos city, Riley observed, "There were days when I saw more frigates in the harbor than debtors in my account book." The king was at first pleased with the benefits that the fledgling colonies brought to trade. No wonder. Trade was, after all, a kind of spark that lit a fire in the economically ossified Myrtanian stove. Leather, weapons, tobacco, and jewels came to the east. To the west, ships laden with wine, silver, salt, and textiles sailed. The plan, which at first bore fruit, began to turn against Maximus over time. The colonies, which were many miles away from Vanguard, were more willing to accept the authority of the merchants than that of the king's envoys. The bolder, more self-sufficient posts, in turn, began to decide the economy and politics and even minted their own coins. Volume 3. King Maximus's attempts to negotiate with merchants proved futile. The sails of their ships were less and less decorated with Myrtana's emblems, and instead they bore the symbols of newly founded unions and guilds. At the gates of trading posts, one could find not vendors, but armed to the teeth mercenaries. Many blamed King Domenico I for the outbreak of the rebellion, who years earlier had given traders a modern fleet. Although he undoubtedly gave rebels the tools, the real initiator of the revolt was the wealthy merchant Delaverde. Upon hearing of new colonies in the east, he moved to them his fortune and began investing in local resources, which he taxed heavily. Delaverde soon became the most influential magnate on the eastern archipelago. The only thing that stood in his way of becoming a trade hegemon was the royal procedures, which significantly delayed the transport of goods on the continent. With the help of corsairs from local island, Delaverde efficiently avoided the main merchant routes. Volume 4. As Maximus, opening the islands of the eastern archipelago to the world through the bay to the merchants, So Delaware decided to grab the whole rod. One night, he and the leaders of the influential merchant guilds signed a treaty creating the Eastern League, which effectively took control of the colonies. The effects of this decision, however, were lamentable for the continent. The royal treasury received only a fifth of the gold from trading goods, as a result of which the south of Myrtana was plagued by poverty, famine, and disease. With time, people began to take to the streets of the cities, demanding decisive action from the authorities. Rebellions and executions of royal emissaries ensued, and the country was plunged into chaos for many years. Maximus was succeeded by his son Mandred the Harsh, who vowed that he would not rest until the colonies returned to Myrtana. However, if the tales are to be believed, the real cause of the conflict was the dumping of an entire supply of swampade into the sea before it reached the harbor of Vanguard. The king, famous for his love of this once popular and legal stimulant, took the insult personally. War was inevitable. So this is kind of reminiscent of the Boston Tea Party, where the American revolutionaries dumped the tea, and I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back because was an insult to the British and the king. So, Volume 5. The emptiness of the treasury did not give Manfred hope for a quick conscription of an army and an effective offensive. The king then decided to pardon some of the convicts, whom he ordered to be trained and armed in the manner of nects. This decision caused strong opposition into the ranks of professional soldiers and commanders, but all signs of the rebellion were nipped in the bud. Despite the initial success of Manfred's campaign, the conflict stalled. The Eastern League, with its superior navy, easily won clashes at sea, cutting the Myrtanians off from regular supplies from the continent. On land, the king's unleashed soldiers brought order to the rebellious populace with fire and sword. Just when it seemed that neither side would be able to fully defeat the other, Mandred resorted to trickery. In a sham peace treaty with the governors of the Eastern Archipelago League, Mandred used bribed merchants to slaughter his opponents, including Delaware, putting an end to the rebellion. Interesting. Volume 6. With the death of the mutiny's leader during the infamous Red Pacts, the Eastern League ceased to exist, and so did the archipelago's dreams of autonomy. By decree, King Mandred appropriated some of the ships and assets of the trade associations and replaced the League with the Guild of Araxos, subordinate to the kingdom. In addition, the ruler withdrew coins minted by the merchants from circulation and established new trade routes, which from now on pass through checkpoints established by him. Although these decisions provided the kingdom with transparency in the circulation of goods, the economic losses were irreparable. Most of the goods being transported arrived at their destination spoiled or damaged as a result of long days at sea or overzealous searches. Ships were often damaged or pirated during the voyage, and Mandred, who was at war with the Southerners at the time, was reluctant to spend resources on saving trade. During the interregnum and later the partition of Myrtana, the position of the Araxos Guild was bleak. Many of its trading posts were converted into hospitals for wounded soldiers and insurgents. In turn, the lack of an organized leadership and the divergence of policies brought more confusion to its ranks. Volume 7. After the Great War with the Orcs, Robert II became a symbol of the kingdom's reconstruction, a ray of sunshine in a land strewn with death. For the Araxos Guild, it was the free entrepreneurs who were elected to the organization's governing body. Fernando chose the city of Corinus as his headquarters. Oh, we know him from Gothic 2. Thanks to his generous donations, the flow of magical ore from the Valley of Mines was improved. Lorenzo was given the title of chairman of the guild hall on Archolos. In a short time, he restored it to its former glory and established a key trading post on Glenware. Reina, in turn, set out for the remote island of Laran. She erected a mining outpost in the vast marshes, a source of precious crystals. This Elder Council gathers once a year with other influential guild members to discuss matters of importance. Their meetings are always held in secret, and members are identified by carved rings made of a special alloy. And the last volume, from which we get a plus to dexterity. Not many years had passed when black clouds once again hung over the futures of the Guild of Araxos. The Second War with the Orcs broke out, and after the collapse of the royal fleet at the Battle of the Eastern Archipelago, Robert II issued an edict claiming ownership of all ships in the seas, including merchant vessels. The efforts of Ronia, archivist at the trading post on Archolos, proved that as a result of this decision, the Guild of Araxos lost 20 hulks, 16 carracks, 8 frigates, and 5 galleons to the king. Although the Elder Council succeeded in convincing the Myrtanian authorities of the need for mercenary units, the losses caused by the confiscation of the ships are no longer counted in the tens, but hundreds of carts of gold. Since the rumors of pirates and Nor galleys constantly recur, it can be assumed that the golden age of trade is over. People increasingly say that colonies cut off from the world would rather drown in internal conflicts than restore their former power. On the lips of merchants and sailors, however, there is just as often an old sailor's proverb. As long as the breeze blows, the blue sails of Araxos will flutter on the seas of the world. That's a neat saying. Okay, let's read the bestiary book. The bestiary books, yep. Bestiary bloodflies. Type of damage. It does edge damage. It's vulnerable to magic. Yes, we know all of this. You can pause the game and read it. I'm not really interested in reading this stuff because it's basically a tutorial on enemies. You can also pause for boars. Advice. Despite appearances, they are more likely to strike with their massive head than with their fangs. It is best to prepare your armor from blunt damage and evade them like wolves. Field Raiders. They are vulnerable to edge damage, to magic damage. Most stuff it seems to be vulnerable to magic damage. Forest Raiders are basically their stronger companions. Goblins. Skeleton Goblin. They live in smaller groups than any other goblins, easier to lure out one at a time. Advice, often circle around prey, do not allow yourself to be surrounded. Yeah, those are goblins. What about lurkers? They're resistant. They have no resistances, interesting. They are vulnerable to magic and fire. Okay. What about mole rats? Type of damage. Edge, no resistances. Their fat bodies offer little protection, but do not underestimate them. They can be deadly in groups. What about rats? Okay, they look like a cross between a mole rat and a giant rat, swamp rats and black rats. Okay, what about scavengers? Location in glades, easy to handle, pecks hard, but do not get pecked first. That's the advice. Okay, they peck very hard. And wolves. The warg. They bite very hard and occur in packs, recommended weakening the group from a distance. So yeah, you can read the stuff, you can pause the game and read the stuff if you want. Orc dogs. Advice, run away! There must be orcs nearby, not to be confused with wargs. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have? Besides the schematics, we have a reference from Rudd. We have Alina's note that we already read. Kinda wanna read all the stuff so I can later sell it on. So what else do we have? We have a bunch of notices we picked up from letter deals with medical progress or lack thereof. When was the last time you heard about an advancement in medicine? A new cure, new methods, or insightful studies of the human body? Has the majority of society really decided that magical abilities solve all medical issues? Maybe this is part of a larger conspiracy. Maybe the mages want to control us in this way, or to keep tabs on us. On the other hand, after all, there are too few of them to influence the actions of all the people in the entire kingdom, or even the continent itself. I'm considering a trip to the outskirts of the kingdom of Myrtana and the villages where these devious mages have not yet planted their seed of untruth. The local barber surgeons and medicine men must have some methods of their own for dealing with sickness and wounds. Perhaps in the midst of primordial medical knowledge I can find something that the mages have been keeping from us. So this is a conspiracy theory, huh? An auction in the Old Town. We regret to inform you that one of the citizens of the Old Town, whose name should not be mentioned here, has committed crimes that threaten the stability of our great kingdom. The court has ordered that he be sentenced to exile in the Valley of Mines to work off all damage he has done and to set an example for other potential criminals. All of the convict's property has been confiscated, and his house in the Old Town will be put up for auction, which will take place in the near future. The house they are referencing is it's a house we can later buy. We can purchase it, I think, in chapter 3 or 4. Anybody interested in viewing the building is invited to the vicinity of Ernesto's hostelry in the Old Town. Restrictions on sewers. It is with sadness that we report more reported disappearances in and around the sewers. We have also received numerous reports of aggressive creatures spotted in the sewers. Unless these reports are confirmed, we strongly advise you not to check it out on your own. The appropriate authorities are already working on solving the problem. At the same time, we would like to remind you that it is absolutely forbidden to live in the sewer area, and any such attempts will result into immediate expulsion from the city. For the convenience of residents, we have provided a list of entrances to the sewers so that you can easily avoid them. Yeah, this is like college teachers providing you a list of academic resources that are free so you can avoid them. Wink, wink. Okay, so we have a bunch of sewer entrances. Miners needed in the Valley of Mines. To all mining enthusiasts, if you know anything about mining and dream of making a fortune, then apply now at the nearest recruitment point. Additionally, every volunteer will be exempted from military service for life. The Valley of Mine calls. Okay, we know this. This is the Wolf's Den. Registered traders in the city. This is a list of traders. So Bowyers, Dark Paladin Brewery, good to know. We mostly know all of these guys. Teachers, Hunter Allen, Frida's employee, invites all beginners and intermediate marksmen to take lessons in dexterity, crossbow shooting, and obtaining trophies. Oh, we can obtain trophies from him. Good to know. During the day, he can be found outside his mistress's workshop in the marketplace. While you're there, don't forget to get the right crossbow and bolts from her. With the right training and weapons in your hands, you'll never have to fear wandering through the woods alone again. Teacher, Dak. Do you have passion for resource extraction? Dak, the head of the shipyard, offers training in mining and logging for a fee. This long-standing expert knows everything there is to know about extracting high-quality raw materials and preparing them for further processing. Do not waste time and valuable resources. Learn how to use them effectively and make your own fortune. During the day, Dak resides in his office in the city shipyard in the northeastern part of the harbor. And Nurka is hunting career on your mind. That's missing an article. Should be it's a hunting career. Learn from one of the greatest marksmen in the world on the island. Although retired, Nurka is happy to pass on some of his knowledge to anybody interested. Lessons include dexterity development and archery. Don't waste any time and head to his house between the marketplace and the museum city of Archolos. Odgar welcomes all the scrawny men who would like to gain some strength. You won't learn as much from physical strength from anyone else as from the city blacksmith. If you are interested, visit the smithy in the artisan district. Information on the next wave of refugees. This one we know. Strange stone object. These are about magical runes. These are the journal pages. We have already opened those. Let's open up the packages and the packets and the leather bellows. Yeah, sure. Okay, so let's see. We have one more chapter of books to read, aka Under the King's Banner, History of the City of Archolos. The first records about the town known as Holos, meaning everything that surrounds us, date back many years before Voltzak's birth. The prefix Arch, kingly, was added when he became king. We can assume that the name Archolos means kingdom. Years before, the island was home to many tribes. Voltzak, leader of the mountain tribe, wanted to end the era of conflict. I wonder if this text was translated with Google Translate, because there are a few mistakes I spotted. I think I spotted a total 20 or 30 mistakes so far in the text. Okay. Voltsak, leader of the mountain tribe, wanted to end the era of conflict. He challenged the ruler of Archolos to a fight, which ended as soon as it started. Seeing their leader fall, the people proclaimed Voltsak a king. During the reign of Wolf of Archolos, there are a lot of articles missing. The settlement consisted of nothing more than several clay-made huts and even fewer wooden houses inhabited by the rich. The stone keep of the ruler was situated in the eastern part of the town, near the mountain range where today the old town is located. Up north from there was a fishing hamlet, which in time expanded to the size of a village. Volzak, aware of the evident profits of seafaring, joined the seaside settlement to the town and erected a high fence around the entire agglomeration. Volume 2. After the conquest of Archolos by King Maximus III, the island fell into the hands of Myrtanians, and with it began the age of grand changes. The new ruler promised to pardon the people who were once loyal to Volzak's sons. The king allowed them to keep their offices under one condition. They had to bow their heads before Enos and consider Maximus their new ruler. The king also conducted reforms of administration. Many solutions utilized in Vanguard were introduced at that time. Although in the effect of the old culture was rooted out of the city, the management vastly improved ever since. Another step the new ruler took was getting rid of the elders. In their place, a governor together with judges and their deputies were appointed. In time, when the new system began to function properly, the latter were delegated other duties, and a new office of the royal scribe was created, focused on citizens' matter. Even long years after the conquest, Maximus was aware of the risk of rebellion. Thus he decided to leave the garrison of the royal guard in Archolos until a trained guard of the city is created. Volume 3. The work of Volume 3. The work of rebuilding Archolos by the Myrtanian style began with replacing gravel paths with paved roads, intertwined with arcades and overpasses erected by a famous sculptor, Alberto of Corinus. At the same time, the building of the town sewers began, which were meant to help residents get rid of waste. Before the Myrtanian invasion, most of the huts and houses in the town were constructed of wood, and thus they were vulnerable to natural forces. To increase their durability, the authorities reinforced stone buildings using the timber framing method widely used across Myrtana. The changes also occurred within the old town. Due to strategic reasons, Maximus decided to tear down the old quarters that belonged to the elders and replace them with a town hall. He also demolished the wooden palisades surrounding the old town and erected stone walls together with two gates. As the years went on by, another two were added in the middle. In the western part of Archolos, in no more than a year, the authorities built a magnificent church of Enos, next to the small chapel which remembers the days of the invasion. It is the highest building in the town to this day and serves as a significant landmark. Volume 4. Maximus knew that a true protection to the growing town can provide only durable fortifications, so he surrounded the entire urban area with stone walls. Later, the king also erected a wide barbican protecting the western gate. Words around the king's victory on Archolos swept the seas in just a few weeks. Merchants, adventurers, and common people alike would come to the shores of their boats, cutters, and frigates, hoping to better their financial situation. It was not long before the town streets would be teeming with outsiders from all around the world. Seeing great numbers of refugees crowding in, Governor Godfrey expanded the harbor area and appointed a group of additional officials to better control the newcomers. On the other hand, to ease the hardship of their journey, he allowed them to build temporary huts near the shore. But nobles of Archolos did not trust foreigners and demanded to close the town borders indefinitely. Although this decision would appease one influential group of citizens, it also plunged the entire region into an economic crisis. Godfrey had to tread lightly, as every decision was bound to a risk. Volume 5. Although Godfrey did not want to take any side, he had a plan up his sleeve. The governor divided Archolos into districts, hoping to better control the influx of foreigners skilled in different trades. The first district was the Old Town, where only the rich citizens of Archolos were allowed to live. After that, a residential district was built for the middle class, which until today remains the largest of them all, stretching between both outer gates. Later, the craftsman district was created, which gathered people of working in different trades. As the last one, the merchant district was demarcated, which initially covered the area of today's barracks, the western part of the town, and the temple district. Each of the districts was also separated with a specific building layout designed in a way to help people move around the town. Although the governor's plan had its merits, some openly opposed it. The indigenous residents accused authorities of segregating people on those of better stock, foreign, and worse, the local. And they were partly right. Nobles simply refused to breathe the same air as commoners. Ah, nobles. Despite dividing the town into separate districts, foreigners still crowded the harbor, each with a story to tell, experiences, and prejudices. An overpopulated shore more and more resembled a pot that could spill at any moment. Determined to stop the uncontrollable influx of outsiders, the governor built a wall on the border with the harbor guarded by a royal guard. His decision angered a lot of foreigners who started a revolt which lasted many days. Although the uprising was brutally quenched, it was never forgotten. The outsiders tried to make their ends meet in a way possible. Smuggling and uncontrolled trade of swampweed flourished on Archolos, which forced Maximus to put an embargo on its distribution. The line between the rich and the poor was more and more visible, and people's trust in the authorities was forever tarnished. It was the time then amongst commoners, and the religion of Adonos, which increased. Water mages took advantage of this tendency and built a chapel in the harbor, which to this day remains open for the sick and the poor. Volume 7. After the unsuccessful conquest of Contir and Glenware, the king returned to the mainland and took with him almost the entire army. This decision was met with mixed feelings from the inhabitants of Archolos. The locals were afraid of another rebellion. Foreigners, on the other hand, saw their chance for gaining more rights. The governors made sure that all of them were content. From the selected group of citizens, Godfrey appointed a unit from the city guard, tasked with maintaining the law and order after the king's departure. Soon after, the barracks were built in the middle of the town. Regular guardsmen and elite companies of crossbowmen became an armed wing of Archolos. The governors also simplified the way of obtaining citizenship by foreigners. Instead of waiting long years for their turn, all they had to do was convince several influential people in the town about their usefulness to society. Eventually, envoys of many guilds and trade companies began to invest their wealth into local markets. There was plenty of work with transporting goods, as well as in sale, thus many new opportunities were open for citizens and foreigners alike. Volume 8. Godfrey should have listened to the words of an old scribe, Holger. Never trust a merchant, give them a finger and they'll chop your hand off, not for what you hold in it, but for that ring you're wearing. But Holger died, and soon after Godfrey, both of an unspecified illness. The new governor, Karsten, despite high hopes, for he was a noble blood, he was a mediocre administrator and even worse politician. He did nothing to resolve the troll problem in the sewers. Oh, they had a troll problem in the sewers, my god. And as a result, people began to spill all the filth right onto the streets, as they did to this day on Londrum. Oh, Marvin is from Londrum, so Londrum is a pretty filthy city, huh? Some began to suspect that the governor is but a puppet in the hands of the trade guilds, which have been gaining more and more power in town. The doubts were quelled the moment Karsten realized that he no longer needed the support of the town council, whose members he drove off to the town hall. The governor befriended, however, a group of merchants with a Myrtanian trade magnate, Delaverde. The stories are true. During a night long libation, aka getting drunk, Karsten signed a treaty appointing the Eastern League, Easter, I think you mean Eastern, which led to declaring an open rebellion against the crown. Okay, we know that history, how it ended. Although at first it would appear that Karsten fell victim to his fondness of beverages, the document was signed and in time the governor began to realize what he had done. The Eastern League became a fact. Banners of Myrtana disappeared from the town hall, buildings, walls, and city gates, and in their place appeared a sign of a triple knot symbolizing the islands of Archolos, Londrum, and Contir, which first revolted against the kingdom. After them, Laran, Erythros, and smaller islands of the New Lands and Eastern Archipelago seceded from Myrtana. Patrols of the city guard were replaced by groups of mercenaries serving not law but coin. Karsten understood he had done with a single swing of his quill, however, it was too late to stop the chain of events. In his grief, the governor threw himself from the highest window of the town to save his name from an entire shame. The king of Myrtana, Mandred, decided to quench the rebellion by sending a well-equipped armed force across the sea. Although the war only grazed Archolos, hastily formed units of men-at-arms laid waste to the countryside, murdering, pillaging, and burning whatever they found on their way. Man, I see you had a desperate appointment with that water pipe over there. Okay, the last volume. Oh, +2 strength, nice. Having lost contact with most of its harbor towns, the fleet of the Eastern League was defeated and the organization itself dissolved. King Mandred brought peace to the rebelled colonies and rebuilt the administrative system. He also appointed the only legal merchant union in Myrtana, the Archolos Guild. One of the first guild houses emerged on Archolos in the western part of the merchant district. Many years later, Governor Morris allowed the guild's chairman to build quarters for mercenaries, people who sought fame and fortune in the service of the organization. After the fall of the Eastern League, patrols of the city guard returned to the streets, but their old prestige did not. They lacked discipline and equipment, which made people doubt the efficiency of order in Archolos. Only today, under Captain Roderick, the city guard began to regain its respect. Years have passed and Archolos managed to overcome storms that crashed against it. Its people, however, no longer resemble their forefathers. They are proud and hardened in the fire of history and ready to face the winds of war which slowly blow closer to their home. So I think these are all the things we can read. The last circle of magic from the fourth circle is in the sewers. And we can talk to Sunder right now. We have a quest from Dima to talk to Sunder. So yeah, that was a lot to read. Let's talk to Sunder.
Ty jesteś Sander?
Okay, so he's how to get him sober. Bastion surely has plenty of experience with people like him.
Piwo! Masz dla mnie
I'm still working
Wciąż
on it.
to ruchy!
Okay. I need something to sober Sunder up. Any ideas?
Potrzebuję czegoś, co ocuci Sandera. Jakieś pomysły?
Już dawno nie widziałem, żeby ktoś miał kaca tyle dni z rzędu. Już od dłuższego czasu proponuję mu przerwę od alkoholu i nawet jakąś darmową porcję gulaszu do przegryzienia, ale nic z tego. Facet wlewa w siebie piwo za piwem, a rano powtarza tylko, że będzie się leczył tym, czym się struł. Jeśli tak dalej pójdzie, to padnie trupem. Nic by mi do tego, gdyby nie to, że jest z gildii. Kto wie, jak zareaguje Lorenzo, gdy dowie się, że jeden z jego ludzi pożegnał się z naszym światem właśnie w mojej karczmie.
Why do you
To
keep
jak będzie?
selling him beer
Pomożesz
then?
mi?
Daj mu ten kufel i powiedz, że to jasne węgarskie.
Przecież to zwykłe pomyje.
No właśnie, może po tym trunku odechce mu się choć na chwilę żłopać piwo. Poza tym, co innego mogą mieć na kontynencie? Ani winogron, ani chmielu, to piją te swoje pomyje.
Okay.
Trzymaj. Tylko pamiętaj, gdyby się pytał, skąd je masz, to powiedz, że... Zresztą, wymyślisz coś. Bylebyś nie mówił, że to ja ci je dałem.
How's
Jak?
business going?
Nie dość, że podatki nadchodzą.
Hard times are coming. Do you have anything anything else to sell, Mr. Bastion? It doesn't seem like it. Okay, so we can give Sunder some dishwater, I guess. Hello, Mr. Sunder. I have some dishwater for you.
Piwo! Masz dla...
A kingdom for a beer. This should get you back on your feet.
To powinno cię postawić na nogi.
Dobra, dawaj!
Mhm.
A co to niby jest? Pieni się bardziej niż wściekłe kretoszczury!
That's a good voice actor, by the way.
Jasne węgarskie.
Benkarckie co?
Jasne, węgardzkie. Udało mi się zdobyć butelkę na mieście. Podobno jest dobre na kaca dzięki niewielkiej ilości alkoholu.
Skoro węgardzkie, to pewnie i sam król je sobie popija. Co mi tam? Nie będę gorszy.
Oh, he's foaming at the mouth. Why were you so drunk last night?
Dlaczego wczoraj
This
się tak
is so
sklałeś?
cool.
A co? Porządnemu najemnikowi nie wolno się już czasami porządnie
He just
urżnąć?
drank soap
Siedzę
water.
w tej karczmie już kilka dni, a że miałem dość rozmów z wieśniakami, to postanowiłem się trochę rozerwać. Piwo, jakie serwuje ta speluna, smakuje jak orkowe szczyny, ale lepsze to niż nic. W każdym razie, póki co mam się stąd nie ruszać. I dopóki mi za to płacą, nie będę narzekał.
Płacą ci za siedzenie w gospodzie i picie taniego piwa?
Widzisz, chłopie? Trzeba umieć się dobrze ustawić. Praca dla gildii kupieckiej nie jest taka zła.
Zauważyłem. Czym się zajmujesz?
Jako najemnik gildii kupieckiej wykonuję różne zlecenia. Przeważnie naszym zadaniem jest pilnowanie porządku, ochrona kupców i ich interesów. Czasami zdarzy się, że robimy za pośredników i dobijamy targów, tak jak ja teraz, ale człowiek, z którym zostałem umówiony, nie zjawił się.
Okay.
Dima czeka na wieści od ciebie.
Cała ona, niecierpliwa jak zawsze. Dla twojej wiadomości, miałem się tutaj spotkać z pewnym rzemieślnikiem i dobić z nim targu. Jego towary pomogłyby Dimie w rozpoczęciu dochodowego interesu. Problem polega na tym, że czekam na niego od kilku dni i nadal się nie zjawił. Nie wiem, czy się rozmyślił, został pożarty przez kretoszczury, czy napadnięty przez bandytów. I szczerze mówiąc, mało mnie to obchodzi. Mam czekać, więc czekam. Dima zaoferowała mi dużo złota za to zlecenie, więc nie będę marudził. Przekaż jej wszystko, co powiedziałem. Ale jeśli jakimś cudem byś go gdzieś znalazł, to natychmiast wróć do mnie. Muszę wiedzieć, co dalej robić.
No. You don't get off that light. Why don't we look for him together? I know you're drunk, but you're getting paid to just get drunk. I'm doing all the hard work.
Może poszukamy go razem. Jeśli uda nam się go znaleźć, nagroda z pewnością będzie większa.
Czy ja wiem? Siedzenie tutaj jest całkiem wygodne.
Ruszyłbyś się w końcu, odkąd przybyłem do tej wioski, siedzisz tylko i zapijasz się piwem. Pokaż mi chociaż, gdzie powinienem rozpocząć
That's right, Marvin.
poszukiwania.
Be assertive.
Dobrze, tylko już tak nie krzycz. Głowa dalej mi pęka. Myślę, że wiem, z której strony wioski powinien nadejść. Możliwe, że po drodze coś go zatrzymało, jeśli wiesz, co mam na myśli. Zaprowadzę cię tam, ale pod jednym warunkiem.
Nie przyniosę ci więcej piwa.
Gdy będziesz już rozmawiał z Dimą, oszczędź jej informacji, w jakim stanie mnie znalazłeś i powiedz, że pomogłem ci w poszukiwaniach.
A pomożesz?
Przecież powiedziałem ci, jak wygląda i gdzie możesz go znaleźć.
Fine, lead the
Niech
way.
ci będzie. Prowadź.
Oh my god.
Chwila.
I hope you're not gonna walk like that.
Wiesz może,
For the
jak
rest of
wygląda
the
ten
way.
człowiek?
Z tego, co mówiła Dima, to jakiś chudy, wysoki gość z ciemnymi włosami. Powinien nosić na sobie fartuch kowala. To wszystko, co o nim wiem.
How's life?
Jak życie?
Bywało lepiej, bywało gorzej.
Okay. Are you gonna walk like a drunken zombie for the rest of the way? Come on. Come on. Can I kick? Okay. Let it out, man. Let it out. Let it out. Finally. Finally, now we're going somewhere. And we're getting somewhere. Come on, Sander. Come on. So we're looking for a guy in a blacksmith's apron with dark hair. And I really like the quest in Archolos, by the way. I don't know why people keep bashing the quest design. I mean, they're unique. They make sense in the context of the game. People don't know you, people don't trust you. Of course they're gonna give you quests based on their own needs. You're not the main hero, you're just a guy. You're just a refugee in a strange land, basically. Okay, let's focus up. Do we have our spells equipped? Do we have our spell scrolls ready? We cannot use the lightning yet, but the geyser should be useful. Let's put... Okay, 4 and 6. Okay, let's see. What are we gonna encounter? Are we gonna...
Jesteśmy na miejscu.
Nie widzę tu nikogo, ani żadnych śladów.
Oczekiwałeś, że będzie tu stał wielki drogowskaz z napisem tędy do zaginionego człowieka Dimy? Rusz się trochę. Nie za to płaci ci Dima, żebyś się teraz obijał. Rozejrzysz się po okolicy, to z pewnością coś znajdziesz.
A ty?
Stanę na czatach, żeby przypadkiem nic cię nie zaszło od tyłu.
Dzięki. Takiego wsparcia oczekiwałem.
Okay, so I'm gonna be the...
Bywało...
I'm gonna do the whole job, aren't I? Oh, you're gonna keep on drinking. And I'm supposed to lie for you, right? I'm supposed to lie for you. So I'm guessing we're supposed to go to the cave on the left. Oh, I see some, I see tracks. I see tracks.
Krew? Chyba idę w dobrym kierunku.
Yeah, we're definitely going to the right direction.
O cholera.
Oh, ho, cholera. Depleted tree. So the messenger's corpse, huh? What does he have? An adventurer's belt. Couple of recipes that we know. Perennial wine, some gold. Okay, okay. So go back to Sunder, I guess. Now I'm curious, since we're here, is this cave on the left relevant in any way, or can we still not open it? There's a cave here that doesn't open. I'm certain it's gonna be relevant for a quest later on, but doesn't seem like it's this one. Okay, let's go back to Sunder, and then we're gonna go back to Dima, and also finish the depth quest. We need to finish that one as well. The hell? What the hell, man? Just what I needed. Sunder's missing too. I saw a beer mug on the road, or what's left of him. Let's follow the road, I guess? Did the beast get him? Was that the beast? We have a mystery on our hand. What does the quest say? I think I see a beer mug towards the village. Maybe it will lead me to Sunder, or what's left of him. So he probably ran off. No, there's Sunder. Here he is in the distance. The little bastard. The little drunken bastard. Ah, Sunder.
Nie chcę już o tym słuchać.
You're supposed to be watching my back, you know. You're supposed to be watching my back.
Co ty tu robisz? Czemu uciekłeś z lasu?
Uciekłem? Musiałem zalać czymś te myrtańskie pomyje, którymi mnie poczęstowałeś. Z początku smakowała mi ta piana, ale po kilku godzinach dalej nie mogłem się jej pozbyć z ust. Jeszcze by mnie któryś z tych wystraszonych wieśniaków wziął za tę ich całą bestię. Czekałem tam na ciebie już nie wiem ile i jedyne piwo, które miałem przy sobie na czarną godzinę, akurat mi się skończyło. Więc wróciłem w stronę wioski. Chyba nie wystraszyłeś się wilków czy kretoszczurów, chłopcze, że zacząłeś mnie szukać.
Uh, the same thing could have happened to you as the man you were waiting for.
Pomyślałem, że mogło cię spotkać to samo, co człowieka, na którego czekałeś.
Naprawdę? Co z nim?
Nie żyje. Znalazłem zwłoki w lesie niedaleko stąd.
Cholera. Jak wyglądał?
Tak jak opisywałeś. Szczupły brunet w stroju kowala. Trudno było lepiej się przyjrzeć. Jego ciało nie było w najlepszym stanie. Łagodnie rzecz ujmując.
To chyba on. Wygląda na to, że sprawy się trochę pokomplikowały.
Co masz na myśli?
Jak Dima się dowie, że człowiek, z którym miała ubić interes, zdechł tuż pod moim nosem, to chyba mnie żywcem wypatroszy. A jak nie ona, to mój kapitan. Chyba będzie lepiej, jeśli zaszyje się tutaj na dłużej. Najmniej aż sprawa trochę nie ucichnie.
To co mam jej powiedzieć?
Prawdę. Dowiedziałeś się ode mnie, że nasz wspólnik odszedł z tego świata, a ja nic z tym nie mogłem zrobić. Jakoś będzie musiała to przełknąć.
A ty? Co teraz zamierzasz zrobić?
Nie wiem, pewnie znowu urżnę się do nieprzytomności. Spartaczyłem tę robotę po całości.
Aren't you surprised at the state I found
Nie
him in?
dziwi cię stan, w jakim go znalazłem?
Cholera wie, co go tak załatwiło. To już nie mój problem. W tych okolicach i dzisiejszych czasach to mogło być wszystko. Nawet ktoś z tych wygłodniałych uciekinierów, jeśli wyczuł przy nim trochę kosztowności. Gdy Dima przekaże sprawę Lorenzo, ten z pewnością wyznaczy do tego zadania kogoś z oddziału łowców.
Hunter unit?
Oddział łowców?
Nie słyszałeś o nich, młody? Nie dziwię się. Wolą pozostawać w cieniu. Trafiają do niego jedynie najlepsi z najlepszych. To mistrzowie kamuflażu, skradania i strzelectwa. Nikt
Skradania?
nie załatwia trudnych kontraktów tak dobrze jak oni.
So, skradania.
Jak
Bywało lepiej,
That's how it's pronounced, huh?
Czy dobrze słyszałem? Mamy kolejną ofiarę bestii?
There is no certainty about this. It's possible. It's possible.
Nie mam co do tego pewności. Jedyne co znalazłem to ciało człowieka w lesie.
Tak, to tylko ciało. Powtarzaj tak sobie, a sam za niedługo staniesz się jej ofiarą. Mówię ci, to ona. Kryje się gdzieś tam i czeka na dogodną okazję do ataku.
Hej,
Okej.
ty!
Okay, brave and fearless guard, relax. Detective Marvin is on the case. We will eventually manage to track down the beast and kill it. Let's go back to Dima, I guess, and report to her about our lack of success, I guess. Okay, and we are back to Dima. Hi, Dima. What do you trade? Luna would like her gold back. I talked to Sunder.
Rozmawiałem z Sanderem.
I czego się dowiedziałeś?
Nie mam dobrych wieści. Rzemieślnik, z którym miał się spotkać Sander, nie żyje. Nie żyje to w tym wypadku nawet lekkie niedopowiedzenie. Jego ciało było w bardzo złym stanie, całe poszarpane i zakrwawione. To raczej nie była śmierć ze starości.
Niedobrze. Udało ci się dowiedzieć może, co mogło mu się przydarzyć?
Niestety nie. Okolica wydawała się bardzo niebezpieczna. Nie chciałem dodatkowo ryzykować.
Rozumiem. Sprawa jest bardziej niepokojąca niż myślałam. Przekażę te informacje komu trzeba. Może oni będą w stanie dowiedzieć się czegoś więcej. A co z samym Sanderem?
Wie, że zawiódł i nie zamierza ruszać się z gospody. Pewnie wkrótce urżnie się w trupa.
Tchórz jeden i pijak. Boi się wziąć odpowiedzialność za swoje czyny. Pewnie leżał w rowie, pijany jak Bela, podczas gdy dzikie bestie lub bandyci mordowali tego biednego człowieka. Co do ciebie zaś, to bardzo dobrze się spisałeś. Oto twoje złoto.
Dziękuję. Trzymaj się.
Do zobaczenia.
That's actually a very good point. One of the reasons that Messenger is dead is probably because Sunder got drunk instead of meeting him. Okay. Luna would like her gold back.
Luna chciałaby odzyskać swoje złoto.
Na śmierć o tym zapomniałam. Zaraz pójdę do niej i załatwię sprawę. Dobrze, że cię wynajęła, bo straciłabym swoje towary. Luna to naprawdę poczciwa kobieta.
Okej.
Chwila, nie przypilnowałbyś chwilę mojego stoiska? Wyglądasz na uczciwego. Zresztą, skoro Luna ci zaufała, czemu ja bym nie miała?
Nie znam się na handlu.
Masz go pilnować, nie handlować. Nie będzie mnie dosłownie chwilę. Zaraz wracam.
Okay. She doesn't really give us a choice, so we might as well look over her stall. So there are actually just two short events that happen when we guard her stall. The first event is that a guard is gonna stagger down those stairs like a zombie. Yeah, there he is. And he's gonna demand some random gold from us. We must not pay him. And the second event is that a woman will come to our stall demanding some goods that are in this chest. We have the key, we have the goods, so all good. So this drunken idiot, who's probably Sander's brother, is gonna ask us for stuff.
A co tu się dzieje? Gdzie Dima?
Poszła coś załatwić. Niedługo wróci.
A ty dzielnie pilnujesz, żeby nikt
Oh,
nic
the
nie
camera.
zdradził? Nieważne.
The camera!
Dima miała mi oddać
No!
moje 50 sztuk złota.
Nic nie wspominała na ten temat.
Może nie wspominała,
No,
ale
camera, no,
długi
don't do it.
trzeba spłacać. Dawaj to złoto, bo nie mam całego dnia.
Don't do it, step camera. You're not getting anything from me. Take it up with Dima.
Nic ode mnie nie dostaniesz. Załatwiaj to z Dimą.
Co? Nazywasz mnie kłamcą? Mam cię nauczyć dobrych manier?
Zaatakujesz mnie
Bring
tutaj?
it.
Na oczach całej gildii?
Jeśli liczysz, że ktoś kiwnie nawet palcem, jak będę łamał ci kości, to jesteś w błędzie. Kto wie, może przyłączą się do zabawy.
Motherfucker, I've fought undead shadow beasts. I'll take my chances.
Zaryzykuję.
Ostrzegam cię po raz ostatni.
Śmiało, miejmy to już za sobą.
Spokojnie, kolego. Na żartach się nie znasz. Nikt nie zna się już na dobrych żartach, no. Muszę lecieć. Pozdrów Dimę.
Okay, and with this, we're gonna manage to complete two quests. We're gonna complete the Against Pledge and the quest for whatchamacallit. We completed the quest for Sunder. Now this is Dima's friend.
Dimy nie ma?
Nie ma jak widać. W czym mogę pomóc?
Umawiałam się z nią na dziś. Miała mi oddać mały zestaw młotków. I jeszcze ten. Figurkę i nosa. Daj mi te rzeczy, bo muszę wracać do córki.
Nic mi o tym nie wiadomo. Sprawdzę, czy w ogóle są tutaj te rzeczy.
Nie szukaj. Ja wiem, gdzie trzyma takie rzeczy. W tym kufrze. Wezmę jej i już mnie nie ma.
Spokojnie, sam to zrobię.
And that tablecloth is specifically very Slavic. I really want to point it out after this quest. So we have a hammer set and a nano statuette. We're gonna give it to the citizen. Here you go.
Rzeczywiście, są tutaj te przedmioty.
No, człowieku, dawaj je. Córka sama w domu, nie mam czasu.
Here they are.
Oto one.
Dziękuję bardzo. Przekaż Dimie, że przyjdę jutro jej podziękować.
Przekażę. Proszę pozdrowić córkę.
Dziękuję bardzo. So yeah, this tablecloth is actually specifically Slavic by the look of it. This is a very Slavic model for tablecloth. I'm pretty sure that if any of you guys are from Eastern Europe, your mother or grandmother had one of these at home. At least one. Or at least 50. I mean, I remember my grandmother having like 50 of these. Okay. Hi, Dima. And beautiful dress, girl. You really have some style.
Jestem już. Działo się coś wartego uwagi?
There was a mercenary.
Był tu pewien najemnik. Twierdził, że wisisz mu 50 sztuk złota.
A tak, znam gościa. Zawsze jak popije, to próbuje tej samej sztuczki. Przepędziłeś go?
Chwilę pogroził i poszedł sobie.
Mądrze zrobiłeś. Nie ośmieliłby się zaatakować cię tutaj. Coś jeszcze?
Yeah.
Jakaś kobieta przyszła odebrać młotki i figurkę.
Rzeczywiście miała dziś przyjść? To moja stara znajoma. Znalazłeś przedmioty dla niej?
Tak, wydałem jej te przedmioty.
No to sprawa załatwiona. Niech ma kobieta coś z życia. Coś jeszcze?
To już wszystko.
Kiepski z ciebie materiał na kupca, choć jak na pierwszy raz to nieźle sobie poradziłeś. Masz tu parę drobniaków. Zasłużyłeś. Rozliczyłam się z Luną. Powodzenia w ściąganiu długów.
Okay, thank you. So we made some modest gold. Now we can finally go back to Luna and close this quest, which is gonna put us in a nice position to talk to more NPCs. Bunch of more NPCs to talk to in the city. Also, a few Easter eggs we haven't yet showcased. But seeing as there's very little time left, we're probably gonna have to show them next time. So, where was that pawn shop? Payback time, pawn shop. Let's talk to Luna. Back to that.
Wracając do długów,
Did Dima visit you?
odwiedziła cię Dima?
Tak, była tu jakiś czas temu. Wszystko z nią już przedyskutowałam. Znakomicie się spisałeś, Marvin. Proszę, oto obiecana zapłata.
Dziękuję. Czy to znaczy, że mogę teraz pożyczyć u ciebie trochę złota?
Nie ma mowy.
Dlaczego?
Jesteś młody i dopiero wkraczasz w dorosłe życie. Nie pozwolę na to, byś rozpoczynał je z długami na karku. Lepiej poszukaj pracy. Wierz mi, tylko tak do czegoś dojdziesz w życiu.
Ale
Nie ma żadnego ale. Mój biznes, moje zasady. A teraz wybacz, ale mam sporo rzeczy na głowie.
How's business
jak
going?
idzie?
Nie narzekam. Wojna ma jedną zaletę.
Okay, no other quests. Thank you, Luna. So where is the museum? The Easter egg is near the museum. So let's go to the museum first. Still have a couple of minutes left from this episode. So we can go to the museum so I can show you the last Easter egg I found. At least for the moment. I'm sure there are probably gonna be other Easter eggs in the city. But this is one I actually found by accident. This is the barracks. I think... Can we go up? That's the question. Yes, we can go up. This is the old town. Now, what the hell was the museum? I think the museum is this way. Slowly learning my way around. There's also a map of the city there. Oh, there's also some crates we can climb up here. Is the Easter egg behind these crates? I think it is. Oh, come on, Marvin. Seriously, Marvin? Do we have to jump on this bean? Okay. Fine, we're gonna enter Marvin mode then.
Tak,
If you don't want to cooperate, I'm gonna force you. So this is the this is the Easter egg. I have no idea what it is actually. I'm assuming it's like a Polish beer or something like that. And yeah, this is the Easter egg. Harness Gaming. This is not an ad, YouTube, by the way. It's not a freaking ad. It's just me showcasing an Easter egg. And I think, yeah, this was the Easter egg near the museum. Now, normally when you approach this thing, Marvin should start dancing. But probably because we're not in Marvin mode, he doesn't start dancing. No? Or maybe there's a certain trigger somewhere. Nope. He doesn't seem to want to start dancing. Normally Marvin starts dancing when you approach this thing. Okay. That's the Easter egg. That's the Easter egg right there. Okay, let's exit Marvin mode. So yeah, for some reason it's very difficult to climb up there. That's it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Gonna see you in the next episode when we explore more of Archolos. We have a bunch of stuff to do, a bunch of quests to do. Hunting with Alan is also something we need to do. The Royal Gambit quest as well. So, thank you guys for watching. Gonna see you next time. And if you want, you can like and subscribe. And if you want, you can also check out my Patreon page if you want to donate. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. I'm still gonna put out content for free for everybody. Not gonna restrict anything for any reason. This is something I've been debating with myself, but at the end of the day, doesn't matter how complicated things get, I'm gonna put out stuff for free because I really enjoy games and I really enjoy good stories and I want to share them with people. So, thank you guys for watching. Gonna see you next time, and remember, as always, the most important story in the world is your own. Cheers, guys! and take care of yourselves.